Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Creative Burrows Gaming Channel. My name is Isaac, and once again, this is Factorio version 0.17. I did some off-camera work around here, mainly because it was going to be a repeat of building this smelting column. So, as you can see, I've built up a second iron smelting column and a copper smelting column, and planned out where I want additional columns to go in the future. And I didn't want to bore everybody with this very repetitious but necessary task. I have made another couple of changes here. This little balancer, it's just to make sure that all the ore gets evened out over the lines. I'll use this new copper line over here as a demonstration. So it's pretty simple. You have a splitter, and you just break the two outputs off to a side, and you loop one in, take the other up a bit, and loop it back in on it. And then you have, since the splitter will, without any filters, will split evenly, you'll get exactly 50% left side, 50% right side. And then you just side load onto a belt for much neater flow. And what that does is it gives you the most efficient stacking possible of the ore, I think. That way, when it gets split once again up here, it's not going to be uneven. You'll be having even outputs. Because there might be a case further along the line where we want to just split off one half of the copper line or the iron line, or any other line we're using. I'm not sure when that's going to come up, or if it's even going to come up, but it's always a possibility. So, now that we have some actual sizable iron and copper plate production, I have to figure out where I want to go with this, and I think what I'm going to do is run my base off to the left here, just north of this lake, through this little land bridge straight over here, because I have oil here, which I'm going to probably run over and do oil processing, and then add that into my resource lines. I have iron here, which can be brought in to replace this patch when it runs out, which won't be for a while at 17 million. But if I need additional lines and run out of room for miners down here, then I can use this iron patch. We do have these biters down here, and they have been attacking. And while I was building these lines, I was realizing that they were coming through in pretty decent numbers. So I put up a radar over here on this far left side to cover my left flank and to cover my power production over here. But if we go down through map view, then you can see that these turrets have been taking a beating. So we might want to go take care of those biters. And to do that, I use a process called turret creeping. And I think actually that's going to be the first thing I do. We're going to repair this turret in case anything slips by me. We're going to get some repair packs going to repair the turrets I'm about to use. And while we're waiting for that, let's see what we need for research. So I'm going to continue on with... I don't think we need lab research speed for the early game. We could just make more labs to research faster. Will become useful later. But since we got rail, I think we're going to finish out the rail line, or at least the basics of it. And this will also set us up for the joys of oil production too. So we're going to get an automated rail network for stops, fluid handling so we can have tanks, barrels, pumps, fluid wagons to attach to the train. what else is there for trade technology? The fluid wagon here. Oh, already got that one up there. And, circuit networks. Just so we can add conditions and a bit of electronic control. So I don't have to come up with purely mechanical means of restricting production. And it does come in handy. It's a little early now, but it will come in handy. So, let's go clear some biters, because they have gotten quite feisty. And unfortunately, it's getting to a point where maybe too feisty is the operative word. Oop, oop. Gotta run. This is why I have turns. There we go. Yeah, definitely feisty. And after looking at that, I think I'm gonna catch some fish. There we go. And fish in this game, you can just right click on them in the lakes, and what they do is they act as health. They replenish health when you're injured. They help out. Yeah, they're health potions, just in fishy form. There we go. So 20 ought to do it. If 20 won't keep me healthy, then I have done something horrifically wrong. Speaking of, I meant to have more than 8 turrets for this. That's okay. And there's the fishies, keeping me alive. Okay, yeah, this base has to come down. It is just... there they are. There we go, switch out to the right toolbar. There we go. And munition management. Very important. And all I'm doing here is literally placing a new line of turrets down, just a little beyond the next. Or beyond the previous one, actually. And I'm using the turrets. Okay, so this is definitely dangerous. But that's okay. I have full confidence that my turrets can handle anything I decide to throw them up against, and that the fishies will make sure I stay alive. So we'll just try to handle this little spawner by myself. Grab some repair packs. We'll repair up these turrets and pick them back up again. Okay, so we have a little raiding party starting up here. You can see these little biter spawners, spawn out biters. They group up under a raiding party, and when they reach critical mass, they come for you. And that's how the attacks are generated. Whether a base will attack or not is generated by the amount of pollution it absorbs. So once it starts absorbing pollution, it has a counter that starts going up. And once that counter reaches a critical point, then they decide to launch an attack. Can't quite get to that worm. Well, I can. Much more flexible than my turrets. There we go. We'll heal these guys up. They've done a great, brave job for us. Okay, and that should buy us some time. Quite a bit of time, actually. Since I can't see any other biters. But at the same time, I say it's going to buy us quite a bit of time. Yep. The north is getting busy. Okay, so that was a nice, fun diversion, but I have to start getting this base built, and I have to start getting some production underway. Some serious production. I do like where I place my base, though. Got the water over here protecting my flanks. Biters do not swim. This was... excuse me there. Still allergy season here, and still suffering just a bit. But with that water protecting my flank, I don't have to be so paranoid. I know the rough avenues the biters can attack from. So there we are. Our research is taking along. And so, get ourselves back to production mode and consider how I want to route all this. Trees up here. Wonderful trees. I'm definitely going to have some parks in this playthrough. And a park is simply just a place where I cut out a little section and leave the trees. Okay. So, now the reason I'm starting this planning is because I'm going to use a method called main bus. And the main bus method is a organizational concept for getting resources into a Factorio factory. And all main bus does is say, well, if you group all your resources into like-minded sets of conveyor belts and run it through the entire factory, then no matter where you are in your factory or where you decide to build, you will always have the resources you need to pull off. And all you do is just pull off from the side of a belt, split a belt off, run a line, run the entire belt, however, off the main bus. And right now, I'm not sure how much sense that makes, to listen to. And I think I'm going to do this. I can do this in map mode. Excellent. Whoop. Okay, maybe. There we go. Hitting shift. Much help. And so how I arrange my bus is a pretty popular method for main bus. And that is, I arrange my bus in groups of 4. And the reason I do that is because when using yellow level transport belts, splitters, and so on, the underground belts have a max between distance of 4. And that I can demonstrate right now, thankfully. So, if we take an underground belt, we run it up, it'll stop at any point up to 4 empty spaces. Beyond that, it won't connect anymore. Which is why I have a main bus that is 4 lanes wide for each grouping of lines. And so what I'm going to do is figure out where I want all these lines to go, what I want them to be. And I think how I'm going to do this is pretty simple. Since I'm heading to the left, I'm going to say that lines on the left are the resource production lines on the left are the ones further south. If I could remember how to plan, and so on like this. This is planned in the future to be a steel line, so I'm just going to remind myself of where I'm placing that, and that's going to go right here with the copper, since I'm currently only planning out 3 copper lines. And since that's as far as that's going to go, we'll erase the planning there. Alright. Oh, oil processing, need pump jacks. So let's start getting that researched. We'll need to build lubricant. We'll need sulfur processing. We'll need plastics for research and various other materials. And we'll need batteries. These are what? Sulfur dependent. Excuse me. Batteries depend upon sulfur and the outputs from that. So, here we are. We're going to have actually only 3 iron lines. This 4th iron smelting and 5th one, this is actually iron, which is going to feed into our steel. So we'll just run these up, and I'm running out of belts right quick, but that's okay. And it used to be that I would stress just a bit. You know, I'd want everything to shift over this way and then up to the bus. You know, I didn't like having all this empty room out here. After a while playing and setting these up, I've realized it doesn't matter, you use the same amount of resources, and running it straight up and then across provides you, or at least it provides me, a cleaner visual picture, as well as maybe a little space to add in, because when I start getting faster transport belts, I'll be able to support more smelters. And if I can support more smelters, then that means I need more space to put those in. I don't want to, have this like curve around. I just want to run another smelting column up. And so running it straight up and then across, while it leaves a lot of empty space earlier, it really does pay off for itself later for upgrades, or if there's something that depends on only 1 or 2 resources that I need to put down a assembler for real quick. You know, I don't need it too long, but I need a little extra right now. Then I can always add it in here. Like if I needed emergency yellow transport belts, I could place a couple assemblers down, go gears, transport belt, feed it from these 2 lines, and get some made real quick. I don't need that just yet, but that is definitely something that it's nice to think about. It's nice to have this space to use. So, up here, if you're wondering what this is, I think this is going to be my green circuits, red circuits, and plastic line. And if that's the case, then I want 1 more bus line. There we are. Yep, that's right spacing. And what this bus line is going to be is everything I forgot. This is not the entirety of the bus for the rest of the game, but what it is the bus for right now. It may not be the main bus I want, but it's currently the main bus I deserve, or something like that. I was never very good at changing up movie quotes to fit the situation. So, clear out some trees, because of course if I'm going to have this main bus going, I have something I want to use it for. And we'll start building the factory from about right here. Give myself a little space back here in case I need to add in anything. And what I'm going to start off with is what I start off with every time I build one of these, which is I start off with green circuits, because those are at ladies and gentlemen, I present the biters, eating everything I just made. So yeah, there is that. Well, good news, I have some repair packs. This wouldn't be a Factorio game, I think, without the biters there to keep you on your toes. What this definitely means is that I need much more, many more defenses. Many more defenses. I want to know where they came from. Because if they came from the south, they would have eaten this. If they came from over here, I think they would have eaten anything over here. So they had to have come from up here. Alright. So do I just place... Just making sure that I still have transport belts under all this iron. Yeah, that is the weirdest bit. Where did they come from that they chose not to eat anything else? Okay, there's these guys. And judging by where their bodies lie in relation to everything else, those guys are coming from about over here. If it was up here, it'd be a straight shot this way, though they might diverge to hit the military building, which the radar most definitely is. Okie dokie. Let's pick up some resources. Let us build some radars and some turrets. We'll go pick up some ammo and we'll plop some turrets down. And maybe get that second radar gone out. And this is Factorio, ladies and gentlemen. Where when you play with biters on, you have to expect that they might come out of the woodwork when you least expect it. And that's okay. It's all a part of the game. Alright, I didn't even pick up ammo, did I? Oh, the joys of forgetfulness. I remember back in the day when I didn't forget anything, and I knew everything. But those days are long behind me now. I just can't remember when those days were either. So do I go plug this hole here? Oh, I guess we're taking an excursion. Sorry if this is going to take up, if this video will absorb more time than you expected it to. Definitely this portion of it is absorbing more time than I expected it to. So, I think, yeah, we are just going to kind of close this gap up here. We'll have some overlapping turret defense. And the game auto-saves and throws off my spacing. Once again, also a part of the game. And we will give these turrets plenty of ammo to do their job. Now those two should be able to handle it. Yeah, the least amount of turrets that any section can be covered by will be 2. And most of the pathways, any other turret is covered by at least 3 other turrets. So if the biters attack them, and this should give us plenty of warning. Because I don't think the biters are coming under here, otherwise they'd come, yeah. So they had to be coming from up there. At least that's my decision making. If I'm wrong, I'll find out when I come back to a main bus, B&E. So anyways, back to green circuits. So green circuits, as we know, take 2 things, copper and iron. And that copper needs to be refined into copper wire, which then needs to be fed into the circuit maker, as Factorio is designed to do. Yeah, let's gotta make some fast inserters for this. So this is an array that I saw once for how to do green circuits, and I have used it ever since that one time I saw it because it is fantastical. It works beautifully, but I've never been too thrilled about the fact that all the lines are just kind of straight up and down. So I think we're gonna scrap that. And I've been kind of fiddling around with designs, and I think I've got one that'll meet my sensibilities without necessarily offending them. So we still need, let's say a copper line. We're still gonna need 3 copper machines. Well, 3 copper wire assembly machines. 2 electronic circuits assemblers. Had it right there. Don't go too far, Isaac. You've got this. And this is going to be about the same arrangement. We'll have our iron coming in here. But the difference is going to be that I am going to feed the output off to the sides. And the reason I want to do this is because it means I can stretch my green circuits out to a side and then tile them like smelting columns, going vertically. And since for this portion of the base I'm going to be longer than I am, I'll have a larger horizontal distance than I will vertical distance. I want to kind of arrange everything within that spacing. So we could take these guys and we could put them right over here. And for running this array vertically, what did I? Oh, okay. I'll fix that. Whoops. No, that's okay. Just go back in, repaste where the spacing has gotten a little wonky, thanks to my clumsiness. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now once again, did I say clumsiness? I meant all the clumsiness. It's okay. We'll just have to remember that I don't have these spaced out. How did I do this? Oh, I remember how I did this. Trying to do everything off the top of my head here. It kind of works, it kind of doesn't. Oh yeah, and we won't even worry about these because I don't think I'll have that much production. Now, to be fair, this does take quite a bit of planning to execute, more so than the way this array is normally arranged. And it also takes splitters to start joining these lines together, which, depending on what you're doing, may or may not be a big hassle. It means it takes more resources overall. But like I said, I do this for organizational purposes. It also gives me something just a little bit different than maybe the norm, which I always appreciate because I'm going to be doing a lot of building various arrays for this playthrough. And this will not be the first time I build green circuits. Oh! Hi guys! Nice to see you here. Thanks for eating my new array. I'm so glad you find it tasty. So, and there's that base. So my pollution is definitely reaching all the way out there. Okie dokie. Well, I have a pretty good idea where they're going to come from. So we're going to put out a little bit of bait. So on their way by, they should find these buildings utterly irresistible. They are very threatening. They are very tasty. And so they should come right on in and take those buildings out. Okay, so let's we're gonna try to hurry this up, get this wrapped up for you. Now, one of the things I don't worry about on this is the fact that I'm going to have to run 2 copper lines for this array. Because for the traditional array, I'd have to run 2 copper lines anyways. That should work beautifully. If I don't misclick. That's fine. Everything's fixable. Those are already done. So yes, with having to run 2 copper lines, it really doesn't bug me. The only issue I have with this, and that I wouldn't normally consider, is that this setup does take more resources to execute. And I'm going to use fast inserters here to cover that 2 copper wire output to 1 electronic circuit ratio. And for the iron plate, I'm not too concerned. I'm just going to use 1 inserter because each plate only takes 1 inserter. And it will output to the sides here. There we go. Do the same down here. That's what I was wondering if they got to that. They very much did. That's fine. There we go. Reconnect all that up. Output, and output. And then we just need inputs. Okay, I should all do that. Only 7 power poles, that's fine. Real quick, we're going to have quite a bit more. Definitely. One of these. That's fine. And there we go. Okay, power pole's built. So we'll just run that right along here. Down this way. And I think we'll run it in this gap. We'll just run straight down. Run straight across. I can always clean this up later. attach it right there. Okay, the only other two things I need is a copper line, split twice, and one line of iron. So, we'll run this out so we can keep track of it. Run this out. Always extend your bus past your production. We'll trim that up. There we go. Okay. So, here's our iron. There we go. So split that off, run that up to there. I'm going to put this splitter here as a kind of quick cheat balancer to even out. Since we're drawing from this line but not this one, past this point, I want these to be as even as possible. And then we are going to split off the copper here. There we go. We'll run that up. Same way we did the iron, skipping under where I want all the bus lanes to be. Make some more underground belts. Where are we getting nothing's gone red. So I would assume anything that's being devoured by the biters right now is actually, or that I'm being warned about the biters right now. Yeah, no, that'll be fine. Is actually that our turrets are doing their job and keeping those biters under control. And there we go. So this should now start producing green circuits wonderfully. This is maybe a touch long, but it was good for planning purposes. And that should all even up and back up. Yeah, and here we are. I haven't researched solar panels. Okay. So what I'm definitely going to need, rail signals. That should finish up the necessary rail research, in my opinion. And then we are going to go with solar, which will need panels, accumulators, which work as batteries or capacitors for that, and then lasers, because lasers make a much more reliable defense than an ammunition-fed turret. So that is green circuits and how I plan on doing this array up here for them. We'll see how it works. This is the first time I've ever used it in a full base method. So here's to hoping that works out the way I want it. And if it doesn't, then it shouldn't be any big deal to tear it down, rearrange it. It's just going to be a little inconvenient, that's it. So thank you very much everybody for watching. I've been Isaac playing Factorio 0.17. And this has been the Creative Burrows Gaming Channel. Have a wonderful day.